evening. I'm Nev Van Pelt, and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay's longest-running street fair brought thousands down to Frederica Street today to see everything Westfort has to offer. The 42nd annual Westfort Street Fair featured a record number of vendors, local musical artists, and for the first time ever, a hot dog eating competition. Jessica Clement has the story.
Frederica Street was bustling on Saturday as it was home to the most anticipated event in Westfort. The 42nd annual Westfort Street Fair brought thousands down to the south side to shop at local vendors, eat good food, and listen to local musicians.
I assume there's probably, looking around, like 8,000 or 9,000. This is almost as busy as I've ever seen it. There's lineups at every vendor is busy right now. Everyone's buzzing. We can't keep up, so it's been fun.
Aaron Gillingham, owner of the Sal restaurant, says the event is Thunder Bay's longest-running street fair and is something Westfort businesses look forward to every year. There was a little something for everyone, including over 95 vendors, live music, a dunk tank, and a curling exhibit for kids. Gillingham says an insane amount of work goes into putting the fair together.
For the Westfort Village Association, we start planning early in the year. We meet every week. We have a list of business owners here that put it on every year. We have our sponsors that put forth a great amount of effort and money. So it's cool that it's really always a special day to see it all kind of come to fruition.
This year's fair also featured something new, a hot dog eating contest fundraiser. Competitors had 5 minutes to down as many hot dogs as possible, and for every hot dog eaten, $50 would go towards Our Kids Count.
Got 8 for Danica.
In total, $5,000 was raised for the organization. Danica Jones took the #1 spot, eating 10 hot dogs in 5 minutes.
Well, I said I could eat 10, but as I was up there, I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I pushed through and somehow lived up to my word.
Gillingham adds the Westfort Street Fair is a great wrap-up for the summer, and it's touching to see how much support it gets from the community.
It's almost emotional. I'm not gonna lie. So all of us that take part in the planning of it all, it's a special day. You know, I always finish the day with a few beers with customers, and all of us other business owners, we all really enjoy it. It's a really cool wrap-up to the summer. It's a special day for everyone in Westfort. So we're really relishing these final few hours here. It's cool.
Jessica Clement, TVT News.
Also happening in Westfort this week was the Heath Park Pool Festival. Many children and their families made their way over to the pool on Thursday afternoon for an exciting day full of fun and games. Plenty of people took advantage of the beautiful weather and joined in on the fun happening at Heath Park Pool. Each summer they host a festival day for the Westfort community, and this year's event had a jungle safari theme. Pool staff estimate around 200 people came out to swim and enjoy the barbecue, and say it's always a fun day for kids and their families.
The festival days for the kids. We fundraise throughout the year by selling candy, and we have obviously our swimming. We have some activities like our craft table. We're giving away free hot dogs, cake. We bought a cotton candy machine this year and drinks, and then we have a piñata and some other activities that are going to happen throughout the day for the kids where they'll get prizes. Just all of the activities we have, everybody's in a super happy mood. It's really good for the community and for the kids in the area too.
Thursday marked the final pool festival day of the summer as Art Widnell Pool hosted their event on Tuesday. To national news now, where Islanders felt the wrath of Hurricane Ernesto as a Category 1 storm soaked Bermuda this morning. Next, Ernesto heads to Canada's east coast. CTV's Christina Tenelia has more.
Ernesto battered Bermuda.
Yes, we can say that Ernesto made landfall on Bermuda as a Category 1 hurricane.
With a strong storm surge, creating conditions for potentially deadly flooding and powerful winds that left the streets of the territory's largest city littered with debris.
I just came out in the streets, cleaning up a little bit.
And left more than 70% of the island's residents and visitors without power.
That is a large portion of our country without electricity at this moment.
The National Hurricane Center says the storm's size and slow movement means strong winds will continue on the island.
It's still going to be a dangerous situation on that island for many more hours,
prompting a warning from local officials for residents to remain sheltered in place.
So while the majority of Hurricane Ernesto has passed, it is still not over, and we're still experiencing hurricane force conditions right now.
Ernesto's next stop, the Northeast.
It's going to take the center away from Bermuda during the day on Sunday and then moving near or over portions of southeastern Newfoundland as we go from Monday night into Tuesday morning.
The governments of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and Labrador are warning residents to be prepared.
Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland will be within the circulation of the storm. They'll get some wind, some rain, and definitely a lot of wave action.
With the potential for dangerous conditions along shorelines.
It's the ocean, the waves that are the biggest concern with this storm in Canada, and wind and rain is mostly offshore.
To Sault Ste. Marie, where a string of vandalism in the city's downtown area has resulted in tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage to parking meters. As police search for the suspect, the city is planning next steps for parking cost collection. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
Surveillance cameras recorded the male suspect sometime on the night of August 1st, destroying one of 74 parking meters in the Sault's downtown.
Over the span of about a week, we had 18 single head and 28 double head parking meters that were vandalized. It is our understanding, based on the damage, that they were smashed quite significantly.
Maione says the price tag of the damage to the meters is near $40,000. She adds that the cost of one single head parking meter is $750, meaning the person responsible would not have collectively stolen the amount of just one meter.
There isn't a lot of money held in the parking meters, and they are emptied frequently on a periodic basis. There could have been a couple dollars or, maybe up to 10. It's hard to say into each one.
Despite significant replacement costs, the city is weighing its options on what to do to charge for parking.
We are looking at the cost of replacement of these units, which is significantly high, and there's no guarantee they wouldn't be damaged again. But we are looking at that. We're looking at pay and display meters, but we've also got currently the Passport mobile parking app, which is throughout the entire downtown core, including on all the streets, which is currently available.
The city is currently leaning toward expanding its use of the Passport parking app, where drivers pay via credit card and input their parking zone and license plate. As for the meter vandal, police and Crime Stoppers are asking the public for any information that could identify them. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Back here in Thunder Bay, residents celebrated Indigenous culture and the contributions of Indigenous people to the fur trade at Fort William Historical Park today for the annual Nishnabe Kigan. The weekend-long event highlights the key role Nishnabe culture and traditions played in defining Fort William and its impact on Canadian history as a whole. Visitors were able to sample traditional foods, play various traditional sports, watch skill demonstrations, support local vendors, and participate in a powwow. General Manager Patrick Morash says the event gives the fort the opportunity to present different aspects of Indigenous culture to the community.
Indigenous culture and the relationship to Indigenous people historically was absolutely essential to the functioning of Fort William and the success of the fur trade. Today, it's as important as it was historically. So it's a real opportunity for us today to work with many partners in the community who are either Indigenous themselves, working with Indigenous organizations, and also promoting various aspects of culture and heritage.
The Nishnabe Kigan continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The annual Raise the Bar charity golf tournament was held yesterday at Whitewater Golf Course. While the weather delayed the big moment, attendees were still able to see the Golf Balls from Heaven helicopter ball drop. Around 5,000 balls hit the green on the 18th hole this year. People were able to purchase balls with hopes of getting their ball closest to the pin for a cash prize. The event's in honor of Dustin Barr, an avid local golfer who passed away from 5 years ago from cancer. The fundraiser is a way to support the organizations that helped Barr while he battled cancer and youth going through the same struggles he did.
Ronald McDonald House, because that's a charity that gave back to the Barr family. We've given back to Make-A-Wish, because that was a charity that gave back. We have our own grant application like I was telling you about, where families can apply. The Thunder Bay Regional Health Science Foundation, the T-Baked Health Tamarack House, we've donated, I think, over $30,000 in the last 2 years alone for them to use to help families and grow the area that they're staying in when they come for chemotherapy and that.
The plan is to keep the event going to support those in the community for years to come. A TikTok famous lobster stuffy made a stop in Thunder Bay this week on its much publicized trek across the country.
This lobster trap.
There it
with
is.
Our little lobster in there.
Lucky lobster in there.
Obviously, we can't fly it home, but we are calling all Canadians to help us hitchhike it across the country.
Chris and Karen McCallum turned to TikTok to help get Lucky the lobster in an authentic PEI lobster trap from the East Coast to their home in Alberta. The plush lobster has been making its way across Canada and recently stopped at Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, where it was picked up by George and Annette Froy. They offered Lucky a lift to Winnipeg, nestled in next to George's vintage clown car.
We heard on the radio yesterday morning that this lobster, who was on TikTok, is heading west. And the story just really kind of taken to our heart, you know, because my husband is ex-military. He's traveled all over the world, and he's also from this area in Ontario, from Wawa. He was born in Wawa, and the story really took to our hearts, and we had to do something to help rescue Lucky.
Everybody's been signing and stuff like this and putting other little plushies in there, and so he's kind of taken on a life of his own, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of what got me interested, is that somebody's got to help the lobster get home.
Lucky left PEI in April and has traded hands many times along the way, picking up mementos and making friends. The Froys added Doug, the moose with a broken leg, to the collection as a reminder of Lucky's time traveling through northwestern Ontario. We're now joined by sports anchor Joel Mendelson. And Joel, a pretty crazy game in the CFL last night.
Oh yeah, it was actually probably one of the best I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's possible to do too much football in one day, but we're going to see when we come back from the break.